Hey guys, this is Rosa Kelly. Welcome back to the channel and to a new 1 hour crafting video. So today we're gonna be making a super easy project. All you're gonna need for this is one piece of chipboard. You're gonna need some scrapbook paper and some sheets of heavyweight cardstock here as well. And I hope that this is going to be a very enjoyable process for you to create, relax, and just kind of make something beautiful here with me. So I'm going to be having a detailed cutting guide on my website, so I'm going to have the link below if you would like to kind of have that ahead and cut your pieces ahead of time as well. But also I'm going to be giving you all the measurements here on the video as well. So I'm going to start with a piece of chipboard. This piece here measures 6.5 by 9 inches, and I have this idea of making kind of like a clipboard mini album, or a clipboard looking album. So if you have a clipboard that you don't use, you can probably just start with that, turn that into a fun project. So I'm going to be using this single piece of chipboard instead because I don't have any clipboards, but I just thought it would be something fun to kind of have a one piece and just kind of have that be the entire mini book. So we're gonna start by simply wrapping this up using the cardstock. So I'm using this Sweet Moments collection by Bo Bunny, and as you can see, I have still a lot of paper, and I absolutely love this collection. So I'm gonna be using one of these to cover my chipboard here. So I'm just gonna use the dark color, and we're going to start by just gluing the chipboard here on top and wrapping these up. So I'm just gonna place that somewhere over here, and we are going to just wrap these around. So we're gonna place that, I'm gonna put it here in the corner, and then we're just going to cut some of the extra. Okay, and then some of that extra here, and then I'm going to cut the corners to avoid having a bulky edge here, bulky corner, but you want to leave some space away from the chipboard here. And then I'm just going to use some double-sided tape and just place a piece here all around. Okay, so we're just gonna press down and press down, and then we're going to add another one here, and then just press down. And then we just want to fold, and we're going to just remove the tape. Okay, so press down, and then we're going to take this out and press down here, and then I'm going to do the same. I'm going to fold these here first, press, and then remove the tape. Okay, and then we're going to do the same on the other sides, but you want to go around the chipboard and just tuck in the cardstock, and then we're going to fold and remove the tape and press down. Okay, and then we're going to do the same over on this side, and then just fold and remove the tape here and press down. Okay, so that is going to be the back basically of the book, kind of looking like a clipboard here on the back, and then we're going to be working on the front. And so now I'm going to be using my heavyweight cardstock, and we're going to cut this piece here So let me just remember this. Okay, so this is going to be 6 1/4 by 8 3/4. Okay, so this is going to go right here to cover this up. I'm just gonna add my glue. And we're going to place this piece down just like that. And there we go. Okay, so now we're gonna start building some pages onto this board here. So I'm going to again use the heavyweight cardstock. We're going to cut 2 pieces at 8 1/2 by 5 1/2. Okay, so I'm just gonna do these 2 here, and we are going to score along the 5 1/2. We're going to score at 1/2 inch. So let's bring this too, and let's go ahead and score here. Okay, so I'm scoring at 5, just same thing. Okay, so 1/2 inch along the 5 1/2, and then we're going to fold these 2 pieces, fold, and we are going to add 1 on each side here. Okay, and I'm going to add the glue, and I'm going to add this line up with the bottom of the cardstock here. Okay, so you will have a little space left here along the top, and then press down, and so we're going to do the other piece over here, and press down. Okay, now we're going to cut another piece, and this one is going to be 9 by 6. Let's do 6 1/4. Okay, and we're going to score along the 9 inches at 1/2 inch, and then we're going to fold along the score line, and we're going to add this piece along the top. So I'm going to open those 2, and we're going to place this here along the top, and I want to make sure that you can close that and your hinge is not on the way. So I'm going to just kind of cut the corners of these 1/2 inch. Okay, and then we're going to add the glue, and then this is going to go along the top and press down. Okay, so press down like that. Mine's a little crooked, so I'm gonna place that. Okay, so then we're going to open this up, and we're going to close, and this is all gonna close here on top, and each one of these flaps is going to be a page. So we're gonna work on each one of those pages here. So I am going to cut 1 piece, and this is going to be I'm gonna do this here, 4 1/2 by 5 3/4, and then we're going to score along the 5 3/4 at 1/2 inch, and at 5 1/4, and then we're going to score along the 4 1/2 at 1/2 inch. It's hard to score on this cardstock, it's very thick. Okay, and And then we are going to cut the corners. Okay, so we're just gonna cut and cut. And then as you can see, this is going to be a pocket. So folds along the score lines. Okay, then I'm going to cut another page, and this is going to be 4 3/4 by 7.5, and we're going to score along the 7.5 at 1/2 inch and fold along the score line. Okay, and then we're going to bring this back. I'm going to open this page here and glue this piece along the top, and you want to center this page right there. Okay, and then we're going to open this up and add this pocket. Okay, so I'm just gonna add the pocket over here and place these along the center as well. Okay, so and press down and press down. Let me make sure that this is glued down. So that is gonna be on this side here. We're gonna have this opening up and a pocket on the inside. Okay, so now let's close that up, and we're going to now cut. I'm gonna do two. Let me take these out over here, and we're gonna do 2 pieces at 5 1/4 by 7. Okay, so again 5 1/4 by 7, and we're going to score along the 5 1/4 at 1/2 inch. Okay, let's do that, and same thing for the other one. So I'm gonna do it on this side, it's a lot easier. And then we're going to fold and fold along the score line. Let me put this to the side for now and then work on the next cuts here. So we are going to cut 2 pieces now, and we're gonna do this at 4 1/2 by 6 1/2. And let's do another one. 4 1/2 by 6 1/2. And these two we are going to score along the 6 1/2 at 1/2 inch. Okay, so same thing for the next one. And then we're going to fold along the score line, and we're going to open this up, open this, open the other one, and we're gonna work on this right side section. So we're gonna start with the 2 that measure 5 1/4, and we're going to place 1 on each side. Okay, so let's add the glue and place 1 over here, press down. Okay, and then we're going to open this up and add the other one. Okay, and this will go on the right side. So let's just line this up to the page and press it down. Okay, and then we're gonna open that up, and the 2 pieces that measure 4 1/2 we are going to glue along the bottom. Whoops, we're gonna glue these 2 along the bottom of the flaps. Okay, so we're gonna put 1 and 2. Okay, so let's do that over here. And just like that, press down, and then this will open down and open down like that, and then we're gonna close and close, so we can close and close like that. So now we have this side. Now let's add just a little something on the center here. So we're gonna cut a page, and I'm going to do this at 6 by 8. Let's do 8.5. That's good. And then we're going to do the second one. This is going to be 7 by 5. Okay, so the page that measures 8.5 by 6, we're going to score at 1/2 inch along the 8.5 and fold along the score line. And then the second piece that measures 7 by 5, we're going to score along the 7 inches at 1/2 inch and at 6.5. And along the 5 inches, we are going to score at 1/2 inch. And then again, cut the corners and fold along the score line. So this is going to be another pocket. As you can see, I just love pockets and tags, and I think it's just a lot more fun when you have all kinds of pockets. So I'm gonna have the score line along the bottom of the page, and we're gonna fold that score line, and we're going to glue this piece right on top here. So I need to cut my corner a little bit more. Okay, and we're going to add the glue. Okay, and add the glue, and then all of that is going to go right on top. Okay, so remember the 1/2 inch score line is along the bottom of this page right there. So press down, and then we're going to bring back our book here. And this whole page is going to go right down at the center. Okay, so we're gonna add that and line this up. So this is technically a whole other page here. And then press down. Okay, and then pocket, fold out, and then sides. Actually, I'm going to close this one first, and then close that one, and then this whole thing is going to close there along the top. And okay, so now for this front, or like the front panel section here, I am just going to add a page, and this is going to be 7, let's see here, maybe 6 3/4. Okay, so 6 3/4, and then I'm going to do this by 7.5 and score at 1/2 inch along the 6 3/4. Oops. Okay, so score at 1/2 inch, and then we're going to fold along the score line here. Okay, and I'm actually going to change this up a little bit. So instead of 6 3/4, we're gonna do 6.5. So I'm sorry about that. It's better now. It's better to cut it now. So this whole thing is 6.5, and the 1/2 inch is on the same place. So now we are going to place this piece here on the left side, and you want to line it up to the bottom of the page right there. Okay, so I'm going to add the glue and line these up, and then press down. Okay, so press down. And now I'm going to cut another piece here, and this is going to be 6 1/4 by 6 3/4. Okay, and then we are going to score along the 6 3/4 at 1/2 inch. Okay, and now we're going to fold, and this is going to go on this side, okay, but you want to center it to this page here, so you want to center it up and down to that one, so it's gonna go right about here. Okay, I hope you guys can see that. So I'm not centering this to that whole, you know, the whole page. I'm centering to this here. Okay, I hope that makes sense. So basically right there is where I want to put this, and I'm just gonna add my glue and place this page here and press down. And then we're going to open this up and close these, and then close these up here. So this will be your top closure right here. So for this one, I'm going to add a couple of magnets over here. So let's add 2. So I'm using 10 by 1 millimeter magnets, and you can find these magnets on my Amazon store. So I'm just going to put that right there. The link will be below. And also I've been asked questions, since I'm mentioning that, about what printer I use. And I have to say, I have this printer now I did switch printers about, I want to say maybe 8 months ago. And the new printer that I have is an HP. I will have a list on my Amazon store as well. I have printed so many digital collections and multiple, and I barely made a spackle on my ink, and it's so amazing. I think the price of the printer when I got it was about $200, maybe $250, and it did include all the ink that I have not replaced yet. So I'm really happy with this printer, and I can still print so many pages, because the printer I had previously, just the ink was like $80, and it was crazy. And you know, I could probably print maybe 3 or 4 digital collections, and then I would run out of ink, or at least one of the colors will always be, that was another thing, like one of the colors will always consume more. So anyway, long story short, I love this new printer. So if you need a new printer, or if you're thinking about it, I highly recommend the one that I'm using. I don't know what the name is. It's the Sharp Tank. That's what it's called, HP Sharp Tank. So anyway, I will have it on the Amazon store if you are looking for a printer. But there we go. So this is basically our whole little clipboard mini book. How cute is this? So we have this whole section, we have this whole section, we have this other, and this even opens down. And I was thinking about adding something more back here, but let's add the paper first. And also, if you would like a large area, you know, sometimes we want a large picture, you know, you can just keep it like that. But I will add the paper and then just add one more little thing in there. But let's go ahead and start adding the paper. Now, I don't think we need any magnets down here. You are welcome to add magnets here if you really want everything down, but the reason why I'm leaving this area kind of more on the smaller side is because I do want to be able to put a paper clip in here. I only have these little ones, okay, but just imagine the large paper clips, and you can put a larger paper clip here, and that's how you are going to close your cute little clipboard little mini book, and the little larger one will go probably lower, you know, the larger clip. I don't think that I have any. I'll look for some. But anyway, so I'm just gonna start adding my paper, and actually these little ones are cute too, and they work just fine. And okay, so let's switch to the design paper and start adding some pages here. So I have a lot of like already started pieces, which is what I want to use, but I am going to use these and start cutting. I'm gonna keep this on the side so it's not you know, taking all this space, and I am probably just going to save some of these pieces for something else. Put that on the side, and then everything else can just go over here. I always like to clean as I go because I do stress a little bit about all that mess. Okay, and so we're gonna cut this first piece at 6 by 6. So I'm just gonna go along 6 by 6 here, and then this is going to be our opening page. So let's just add that will go right there, and then I will need another 6 by 6 for the back. So I'm just gonna use this that is already cut, so that can go back here. And let's take out the tape. Okay, so I'm going to add a glue. And there we go. And now, okay, so this piece here I believe is 7.5. I have really bad memory when it comes to measurements now. I used to be so good at remembering every size, but not anymore. Okay, so this is going to be 5 3/4 and by 7 1/4. Okay, so I'm just gonna take that. Okay. And then I'm going to put this piece over here. Let me just see how that looks. So I also want to see kind of like the layering effect on the pages, so that's why I'm doing this on different sizes. Okay, so we're gonna take those out and add this piece here. So I don't want to see a lot of pink, so if I put it upside down it's good, but it does look that it's upside down, so maybe I will just keep this one for the inside. Yeah, and let me cut another page. Oh, so maybe we can do, I can probably do some green. So okay, so I'm just gonna try to be quick about picking the paper, but okay. Oh no, I'm gonna do this one's cute. So I'm going to cut this again, 7 1/4 by 5 3/4. Okay, so we are going to put this page here. Okay, so that's on the front, and then this for the back. Perfect. Okay, so we have that ready, and then now you can see the little color changing layers, and then I'm going to pick another one for that back. Okay, and I'm thinking of this one. Okay, so this is going to be 6 inches by I believe 8 1/4, but I will double check. Yes. So 6 by 8 and a quarter. Okay. And then we're going to open, and then this can go right there. Okay, so let's add the paper. And place this down. Look how cute this looks already. Okay, so now I'm going to skip all the way to the center, and I'm going to use the same paper here. And so we're going to cut this at 6 by 8.5. Okay, and then place these back here. Okay, so we're just gonna put that there. Okay, and to add the feature that I want to add here, I'm going to be adding the paper for these. So again, this is 6 by 8, so we are going to cut a piece, and I'm just gonna use any paper here. And so this is going to be, oops, there we go. So let's do 5 3/4 by 7 3/4. Okay, and then we're just gonna put that here and add the glue and place this down. Okay, so now we can add the other feature that I want to add. So I'm just gonna be using the leftover piece here. So this is 4 3/4. So I'm just gonna make it more even. 2 by 8.5. Okay, and we're going to score along the 8.5 at 1, 2, and at 7.5. And then we're going to fold along the score lines. Okay, and then the other piece that I have, I am going to cut these at 5 1/4, and this is by 4 1/4. Okay, so again, I'm just using my scraps. So you could also make these at 5 1/4 by 5 if you want, if you have a bigger piece. And I'm just gonna score at 1/2 inch along the 4 1/4, and then fold. And I'm going to add these at the center here, on top of one of the sides within the center. Okay, so let's just put that over here and press down. Okay, so now we're going to bring this back over, and I'm going to open this down, and then the side that has only the 1 inch, I'm going to glue on the opening flap here. So that's gonna go right there. And again, this will be optional, so you can leave this blank if you wanted to just kind of have a larger picture space. But we're gonna place that 1 inch there, and then these two 1 inch score lines we're gonna fold back and add just glue on this side, and then fold both back, and then we're gonna close this whole page and press and down. Okay, and then I'm gonna wait for that to dry, and in the meantime I'm going to cut this piece at 6 by 8.25. Okay, and then this will go up here. Okay, so let's just add the glue and place these back there. Okay, there we go. And now when you open these down, you're gonna have that cute little platform page right here, and then this will open to the side. You can add two if you want two openings, and that's gonna be there. Okay, so now let's continue adding some paper. So for the rest, I'm just gonna be using or try to use my scrap pieces. So I'm gonna use this here. I'm gonna cut these at 5 3/4, and this is by about 7, but I'm just gonna put this inside the pocket right there. So let's add the glue, place that piece here. Okay, and then I'm going to just keep on adding my design paper. So I have these, could probably go on that side or one of the two, and we're gonna cut these at 4 3/4 by 8 1/4, I think. Let's see. Yes. Okay, so we're gonna glue this down. There we go. And then I will do just another one. So again, just using my leftovers from another project. So 4 3/4 by 8 1/4. And then I can place this on the other side right there. I love the colors on this collection. It's so happy and so vibrant. Okay, so that's that. Okay, then I have this little piece, so maybe I can use that here. So this is going to be 4 1/2 by 6 3/4. So 4 1/2 by 6 3/4. Add the glue and place that here. And I have, let's see here, I'm trying to use up all the scraps I have. This will be perfect for the pocket. So I'm gonna cut this at 5 1/2. I will double check. Oh, 5 3/4. Okay, and this will be by 4 1/4. So I'm just gonna cut this. And place this down. So cute. And I'm gonna use this other one. Okay, so maybe we can use this for the background if it's big enough. So I need this to be 8 1/4 by 4 3/4. Here again, that can go back on this page. So place that here, and let me close these. I can probably use that over here as well. So this is going to be 4 1/2. Let's double check. Yes, so 4.5 by 6 3/4. And we're gonna place these over on this page. There we go. Super cute. Then I have these. Oh, that's a little too small. Okay, so let's see, what can I use? I have that and these. Oh, that is so cute. Okay, so I'm going to cut this one at 4.5 by that's gonna go here on this pocket, so that will go will be by 3 3/4. Okay, and then this I'm also going to cut at 4.5 for the inside of the pockets here. So let's add the glue and just place that inside the pocket, and then this will go on that pocket. Oh, why is this so big? Okay. So maybe this, oh, 4.5. Okay. And there we go. Alright, so that is gonna go there. I do need another piece here, so I'm gonna use this one. So 4.5, I forgot already, forgive me. 4.5 by 6 3/4. And okay, place that over here. Notice I'm not adding so many magnets on the inside. I just kind of want everything to be like free flow. I don't want a lot of, you know, kind of like staticky pages. This can go like that. I think it's easier like this, like that, and then this whole thing is just gonna close here on top. So I only have a couple more places to add pictures, so I think I'm just gonna go ahead and finish that. So I'm gonna place or use this one. So again, 4 and this will be for that back, 4 3/4. No, sorry, 4.5 by 6 3/4 for up here. Okay, let's add the glue, and that's pretty much it. I hope that this was easy enough for you guys to give it a try. I hope that you kind of enjoy this series, the 1 hour crafting. I hope that it's a special kind of relaxing time for you. I know it is for me. I love, you know, just kind of playing with paper. Sorry, I'm putting one more page here as I talk to you. I'm gonna put with this, maybe I'm actually gonna use something more colorful. Yeah, maybe I'll switch to that instead. So I'm gonna put the stripes on the inside. Okay, so again, these are 6 3/4 by 4.5. Okay, so yes, so this will go down. Okay, and then place here, and then this last one, oh well, actually not the last one because we have a couple more, but we're almost there. Look at that. Okay, so now we just have these two, and these are 6 by 4.5. So we're gonna cut our cardstock. I'm gonna cut maybe a full sheet, and I'm gonna use this one. And okay, so these are going to be 6, no, not 6, 5 3/4. Okay, so we're gonna do 5 3/4, and again here 5 3/4, and then this will be by 4 1/4. So I'm just gonna cut that by 4 1/4. And for this one, we're gonna need, I'm just cutting 4 pieces of the same. Okay, so let's bring this out, and there we go. So we're just gonna glue this down, place here, and there's 2 on this one. Okay, and then we're going to add the glue, place this one back here. Okay, so that's that. And these 2. Okay, so now this is the last one. And there you go. So super easy, hopefully fun little project here creating these books. So we have pockets, so you can use all your leftovers, pack them on cardstock if you want to have them more consistently, and then just put that in your pockets. Again, another leftover. This one's long, which I kind of like. Then we can put that here, so back it on cardstock, and then this opens and opens on this side. I do need paper here, but we'll do that later. And so now this closes. I know it's getting a little chunky, but that is the point here of having your cute little clipboard, a mini book, I guess. To actually call it a clipboard, we need the clips, right? So I'm just gonna put those here for now and close all of that. And I hope that you guys enjoy this 1 hour crafting. If you're new to the channel, please subscribe. Like I mentioned, I also have the cutting guide, which really helps support the channel a lot when you guys pick those up. So thank you, and I will see you guys on the next one. Bye.